Tourney time and a Cuse Countdown webisode. Cooper Boardman, Will Scott, and Sean Scott here with you. It's Syracuse and it's Baylor in Salt Lake City. The Orange and Bears matching up in the West region of things. SU, one of 7 ACC teams in the field, and one of 2 in this part of the bracket. Guys, when you look at this bracket, what do you circle or pencil in?
I think the West region is going to be the region of chaos. So many possible upsets looking at this bracket. Vermont over Florida State, I like that pick. Murray State, I think, goes far. Syracuse over Gonzaga potentially in the second round.
Right?
I think Syracuse could give Gonzaga a game.
And if you have Syracuse going far, potentially Buffalo, Syracuse Elite Eight, what a New York matchup that could be.
And a rematch as well.
Exactly.
That's the bracket, but for Syracuse specifically, the news came down. Frank Howard out for an indefinite period of time due to a violation of athletic department policy. Not exactly sure what that means at this point, but no Frank, what does that mean for SU?
I mean, it's a big blow. I mean, you lose an experienced point guard that has years of starting experience with the Syracuse team. And what's maybe even worse is you don't even have time to prepare with a new look offense. I mean, the news just broke today. Syracuse just found out today that he is suspended possibly for the entire tournament. But if you want to put a positive spin on this, Jalen Carey's going to get more minutes now. Buddy Boeheim will be back in that starting rotation.
You might want to slow your roll on Jalen Carey, but that's... Ugh. But, look, the way I see this, they're losing depth. That's the one main thing. You're losing a player who played a lot of minutes. He was a senior. He maybe didn't make always the smart decision, especially this is a bad decision he has made in real life. But you got to feel for him, too. He's a senior. This could be his final game. That's a tough look for him.
And we don't exactly know what happened, but certainly this is a big blow for Syracuse. The game is going to go on, though, and for SU, they want to pick up the win, try to advance to this second round. How do they try to pick up this victory, Will?
You know, I think the key for Syracuse is going to be limit those offensive rebounds for Baylor. This is a Bears team that ranks second in the country in offensive rebounds. It's going to be a tough matchup for Syracuse, but if Pascal Chukwu and Marek Dolezaj can step up, I think Syracuse will be in very good shape to win this ball game.
Yeah, Syracuse, they just need to capitalize on their strengths. Look, we all know Baylor's going to win the rebounding battle. That's obvious from the numbers. But what Syracuse can do is they can create some turnovers. Baylor's very bad at holding on to the ball. Syracuse loves to cause some turnovers. Look, if Syracuse can capitalize on their strength a little bit more than Baylor can with the rebounds, I think they can pull this one out.
So you think they can pull this one out. Do they pull it out?
Yeah, I'm going to take Syracuse in this one. 62-56 is my final score. Look, these 8-9 games, always the toughest in my bracket, at least for me. It's always like a coin flip. But Syracuse's zone always seems to carry them come tourney time. These teams from the Big 12, SEC, other conferences aren't quite sure how to face it. I think they have just enough, and Tyus Battle returning, just enough offense to win.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you this time, Sean. I have Syracuse 64-60. Without Frank Howard, maybe a Final Four Elite Eight run's not as possible, but I do still think they beat Baylor. Tyus Battle, he's going to rise to the occasion like he always does. Buddy Boeheim, 20-point game, I think. I like Syracuse to move on.
It's funny, too, because it kind of feels like Syracuse fans really feel like it's a foregone conclusion that the Orange are going to win this one. And despite me saying that, I am picking Syracuse 72-67 SU. Look, I think this is going to be a lot closer than people think it's going to be, especially with the loss of Frank Howard. Baylor can rebound. It's going to come down to whether Syracuse can push in transition. I think they will do that just enough. But again, an 8-9 matchup, you have no idea what's going to happen. It's tourney time. Who knows? But we're going to find out between Syracuse and Baylor. That'll do it for us on this Cuse Countdown webisode. Be sure to follow along with us on Twitter at Citrus TV Sports for all the updates from Salt Lake City. For Will Scott, Sean Scott, I'm Cooper Boardman. Enjoy the game and the tournament, everybody.